So finding your seat comfortable but active. So your sit bones well planted, your shoulders over your hips, your hands rest on your thighs, and maybe close eyes. And just closing eyes so that you can bring other senses to the foreground. Maybe as you close eyes, you're able to hear sounds around you, or those come to your attention a bit easier. As you close your eyes, you might be able to tune into your feet on the ground and that sensation of contact with the floor. You might be able to notice that your hands are resting on your thighs and there's some contact, some weight there. And of course, you might notice the movement that's happening with your breath. And then not only the movement, but maybe the sound of your own breath. And if you can, begin to breathe more through the nose. And allow the chest to expand a little further, the ribs to expand too. And then on your exhales, chest lower, ribs draw back towards the midline. And making your breath three-dimensional, not only the front of the body moving, but also the side body, and feel it in your back body too. And then not only in the torso, but if you think about your inhales, lifting you, lengthening you, notice if you feel any change in other parts of the body. So that space that you gain between vertebrae, that height, see how that translates in how your feet are feeling on the ground or your sit bones. And then the same thing with your exhales as you draw that belly towards your spine, you stabilize your posture. See if you can notice any differences in how the rest of the body feels when you breathe out. And then not only physically, but if you could really tune into like emotional state or your mental state, is there a difference between inhales and exhales? So sometimes the inhales can be a bit more, you can feel that sense of energy, fullness. And then as you exhale, maybe there's a sense of release, but also stability. And that's not only a physical thing, it can translate also into kind of how do you feel mentally, psychologically. So maybe a glimpse of that. Maybe not today, but just stay open to that happening too. We'll take about 5 more breaths. And then take 1 more. See if you can feel a bit more length through your spine. And then on your exhale, drop the chin to your chest and find some space in the back of your neck. Try to draw your shoulder blades towards one another and then down towards your back ribs. But then don't collapse into the lower back. So keep lifting and keep drawing the belly to spine. Take another inhale. And then on your exhale, draw the right ear towards the right shoulder. Your gaze is forward, but your eyes could still be closed. Take a breath in. And then turn your chin towards that right shoulder. So if you were opening your eyes, you would be looking at that right shoulder. Take another inhale. And then return your chin to the chest. Maybe this time you find a little extra stretch through the back of your neck. Breath in. And let's take it to the other side, left ear towards that left shoulder. And once again, we're lifting the chin, so we're looking straight forward. Right shoulder is heavy. Take another breath. And then use your exhale to drop the chin towards that left shoulder. So now you're turning. There's a little tweak to the stretch in the neck. And maybe you're feeling it in that upper back too. Breath in. And then return chin to chest. Gently lifting your gaze, and we're going to take it all the way up. So you could stay with eyes closed, or it might be a bit more comfortable to open eyes, lifting the chin towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, slowly lowering the chin all the way to the chest. And find this movement 2 more times. Lifting on the inhale, so opening the throat. And then lowering as you exhale, finding that space in the back of the neck. 1 more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. And then with your next inhale, we're going to bring the chin more or less parallel to the ground. So kind of level, you're looking straight forward. And let's open those arms out into a T with the palms facing forward. And then open up, draw the shoulder blades towards one another. And then as you exhale, bring those arms forward, interlace those fingers, turn the palms. And as you push your palms away, round your spine. There you go. And then as you inhale, neutral spine, open up again, palms are facing forward, squeeze those shoulder blades. And then on your exhale, arms forward, interlace those fingers, turn the palms, and then get that stretch. So you push your palms away, you're finding that rounding through your spine. Let's do this 1 more time. Open up as your palms face forward, squeeze those shoulder blades, feel space in your chest. And then as you exhale, bring those arms forward, find that interlace, turn the palms, round your spine, chin towards your chest. Now from here, keep that interlace through your fingers and then lift your arms, neutral spine. Now you're pushing your palms towards the ceiling. Take a full breath in. And then on your exhale, lower your left arm down by your side, turn your right palm and come into a side stretch. Return through center, arms lift, spine lifts. Exhale, go to your other side. We'll do it 1 more time each side. Remember about that back, like a wall behind you, and you were trying to keep those shoulder blades on that wall as you go into your side stretches. And then 1 more. Inhale and exhale. So you might not go as far down, but you're keeping that back body a little flatter, so you're concentrating on that side stretch. And then as you exhale, lower those arms down by your side. Find a wiggle through your fingers, rotation through your wrists, one direction, and then the other. And then take it to your arms, to your shoulders, and just passive right now, opposite direction. And then from here, hands return to your thighs. Let's turn the palms up and then close the eyes 1 more time here. So you're not looking at your hands and just sensing here now the thumb and the index finger are going to come together, and then just stretch out your other fingers. Press that index and thumb, the fingerprint area, press them into one another. Take another inhale. Exhale. And then open up those hands. And then now it's the pinky and the thumb that are going to come together. And resist the urge to look at your hands. See if you can just feel it. Keep pressing those 2 fingers together. Extend the other ones. Breath in. And breath out. And then as you inhale, open up. And then it's going to be middle finger and thumb coming to touch. Or the fingers are going to extend out. Breath in. And breath out. And then inhale, open up. And now it's going to be ring finger and thumb that are coming to touch. Breath in. And breath out. And then let's inhale, open up all those fingers. And then on your exhale, palms return to face down, opening the eyes if you had them closed. We'll take an inhale to lift those heels. And then on the exhale, lower your left heel. And then with your right heel lifted, find some rotation through your right hip. And see if you can use this movement to also give the toes a bit of a stretch. Maybe the top of the foot also. And then switch direction. And then let's bring that knee back through center. And then from here, plant your heel and slide your heel forward, extending that right leg out in front of you. Toes are still going to be pointing towards your shin. And then let's take an inhale to reach those arms up. And on the exhale, bring hands to your hips and then find that hinge forward and down. Neutral spine as best you can. Don't worry about how far you go, but think about keeping a neutral spine. So if you're staying lifted, work that rather than just rounding your neck. Okay. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale. Give again a little bit more flexion through that foot. Exhale. And then use your inhale to rise all the way up. Lengthen your arms up. And as you exhale, finding a twist. Left hand behind you, right hand crosses over. We're turning towards the left. Use your hands a little bit here. And then rely more on the core, the muscles in the torso to find this rotation. So using inhales to lengthen up, exhales to engage, drawing belly to spine. Full breath in. And full breath out. Returning through center, reaching those arms overhead. And now on your exhale, your left hand is going to hold the right wrist. And we're going to take the right wrist up first and then over. And now your challenge here is not to move your legs. Okay, so you're going to be leaning over to the left. That right leg is going to become a bit light on the seat and on the floor. See if you can press down through that heel and press down through that right sit bone. It's a bit challenging. Engage your thigh here. Breath in and breath out. And then returning through center, release those wrists, release those arms, bend that right knee and come back. With that foot, knees are bent. Hands resting again on your thighs. Take an inhale, bring those shoulders up by your ears, squeeze them in. And then as you exhale, release them down the back. Do that again. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. One more time. Lift, inhale. And release down on your exhale. Now as you inhale, your heels are going to lift. And on your exhale, right heel lowers. And now we're finding those rotations through that left hip. So sometimes bringing that foot a little closer will give you a bit more range. And if it's available, you might be able to stretch a bit more through the top of that left foot and those toes. And as you do this, can you still keep a lifted spine, broad chest, and then switch direction? And then let's bring that knee back through center. And then from here, plant your heel and then slide that heel out. But as you slide it out, imagine pushing something away from you. So your toes are drawing towards your shin and that leg is engaged as you push it out. And once it's extended, try to keep it engaged. So imagine your thigh pulling your kneecap towards your hip. And then we'll use the inhale to reach those arms up. And on your exhale, hands to your hips, and we'll find that hinge forward and down once again. If your hands are at your hips, your fingers at your hip crease, give those hip creases a little push back and down. And see if you can feel the spine lengthen forward just a little further. Toes towards the shin. Press evenly through both sides of that foot. Another inhale. And another exhale. We're rising up on the inhale, reaching those arms overhead. And let's find that twist. Right hand behind us and left hand crossing over. Again, legs don't change. Just that torso rotating. And then a little bit of help with your hands, but not relying only on the hands. Breath in and breath out. We're returning through center on the inhale. And then this time your right hand is going to hold onto that left wrist. Okay, so really steady, sit bones planted, left heel planted. Pull that left wrist up and then take it over to the right. And then don't go too far that your foot lifts, your sit bone kind of lightens up. You want to really press through that heel, and left sit bone. Breath in and breath out. And then as you inhale, coming back through center, and on your exhale, release the wrists, release those arms, and return that left foot to the ground. So if you think about balance, that we just did was like a balance pose, right? So when we're taking that wrist over and we've got one leg out, it becomes a balance pose. You can go too far and you'd lose your balance, and worst case, you fall off the chair, right? So you've got to really notice that you've got to put a bit more weight and more strength into that extended leg and sit bone. So balancing acts are about that, noticing when your center of gravity goes off and you need to readjust your posture, the strength, the grounding. Okay, so we'll keep working on those things. Again, hands to thighs. Let's give those shoulders once again a nice roll, bring them up. We're going to do one at a time. Lower your right shoulder, keeping the left one lifted, and then lift that right shoulder and lower your left shoulder down. And then lift both shoulders, squeeze them in, and then on your exhale, release them down. Reach your arms overhead on the inhale. Find the awkward interlace of your fingers this time, and then bring hands to the back of the head, the base of your skull. We're going to open up those elbows, letting the head drop into those hands, opening chest as we breathe in. And then on your exhale, bring the left elbow towards that right thigh, right knee. Rounding and twisting. And then again, let's open up. Exhale, and I'll switch sides. Right elbow towards the left thigh. And open, inhale. One more time each side. Exhale. And open, inhale. And other side, exhale. And now as we inhale, we're coming back through center, reach those arms overhead, and on your exhale, find some space between your feet and your knees, and fold forward and down. If you have your block nearby, plant it under your hands, and rest here for 3 cycles of breath. Remember, your hands could be on the block, you could have yourself hang here, or you could support your spine a bit more by bringing forearms onto your thighs or hands on your shins. Full breath in and full breath out. One more, inhale and exhale. And then from here, slowly lifting that spine. If it's comfortable, keep that chin tucked, and then let the head be the last thing to lift up. We're going to open up those legs just a little bit more. Those knees are going to stay bent, and then try to align your ankles more or less under your heels, or even your knees and your ankles. But you could even get your heels a little closer to you, because what we're going to do is we're going to lift and lower those heels a few times. So hands on your thighs, and then with your next inhale, lift your heels. So you're pushing through the balls of the feet, and you might feel this quite a bit in your hips here. Exhale, lower. And then again, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Now on the inhale, we're going to keep them lifted. And then see if you can draw your knees. So keep drawing them wide and back. Okay, don't let them cave in. Okay? Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. We're going to add to this, so if at any point having your heels lifted becomes a bit too intense, feel free to lower them. On the inhale, reach your arms overhead. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows and find 90-degree angles with those elbows, those shoulders. Palms face forward, squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another as you breathe in, so opening chest. And then as you breathe out, bring those elbows in front of you. And now guide the movement with your elbows. Nice job. Inhale, open up. So as you guide the movement with elbows, you're working through that upper back. Exhale, forward. One more time. Open up on the inhale. At the same time, open up those knees. And then exhale, bring those elbows forward. Now as you inhale, reach your arms overhead, lengthen. And on your exhale, as you lower your arms down, lower your heels down. If you still had them lifted, congratulations, because that might have been quite something for those hips. Okay, so we're going to try and loosen them up a bit after that. So first, heel to toe your feet back to hip width. So intentionally, slowly, and then heel to toe those feet back to that open position. Okay. Let's do that again. Slowly, heel to toe. And one more time. And now in this open position, again, lift your heels. And now we're going to be a bit loose with the hips. Okay, so think about those window wipers we've done before, but now we're going to do them seated. So let's take the knees to the left and let your torso turn too. Okay, and then let's come back through center and take them to the right. It helps if your chair kind of allows you to slide a bit. Mine does. If it's a bit stiff or this pillow, it might be a bit not as easy. But let's go from side to side a few more times. Protect that knee. Don't let it do strange movements here. Back through center and to your other side. There you go, nice. And let's do it one more time each side. Nice job. We look like robots here with the arms in front of us like this. It's kind of funny. And then we're coming back through center. Rest your hands on your thighs, lower your heels, and heel to toe your feet back to hip width. From here, take an inhale, lift those shoulders, exhale, and release them down. Bring the right knee in towards your chest. Your hands could be around the shin or behind that thigh. And now it should feel good to kind of hug that leg in. That hip has been doing external rotation quite a bit, so now drawing it in might feel nice. So let's give it a nice hug. See if you can lengthen your spine. Find a bit more lift through the top of your head. Find some ease in the jaw, ease in the eyes. And then find some movement through your right ankle, a bit of rotation. A little wiggle through toes. And then switch direction. And then let's just flex that foot, drawing the toes towards the shin. And then let's point, toes pointing towards the floor. And let's do that again. Flex and point and flex and point. And now keep that foot flexed. And we're going to cross the right thigh over the left thigh, finding your eagle legs here. Okay, so keeping that right foot next to the left shin or tucking those toes behind it. Knees are pointing forward, open up your arms out into a T. And now on your exhale, your right arm is going to come under the left. See if you can hook your elbows, one on top of the other, and then bend them, bring hands to your shoulders. If you can keep your elbows like this, one on top of the other, you might try lifting those forearms. You might try bringing the palms to touch. If when you lift your forearms, your elbows come off or come out, then stay with your shoulders. Wherever you are, try to lift your elbows, align them with your shoulders, and see if you can feel that stretch in the upper back. And emphasize that stretch with a breath in. And with a breath out, draw the belly to spine and see if you can allow your shoulders to lower a little bit away from your ears. Do that one more time. Breath in and breath out. Nice job. So from here, release those arms. You could reach your arms overhead for a bit of a stretch. And then on your exhale, lower those arms, unwind your legs, and come back to that initial seat. Take a moment, breathe in, and breathe out. And then let's go to the other side. So as you are ready, draw that left knee in. Again, go for the shin or behind the knee, and then just give it a hug. And then see if you can take advantage of this hugging in to rise up. So I've mentioned before, if you think about a balloon and you squeeze it in one area, it kind of pops up at the other end, right? So think about yourself as a balloon. You squeeze yourself here with the knee in, you pop up, you get a bit longer, right? So take another breath in and a breath out. And that getting longer has effects in that lower back and that spine. And then let's take to that left ankle, a little movement here, rotation, a wiggle through those toes. Switching direction. And then when you're ready, just pointing those toes down, see if you can feel that stretch. And then flexing. And let's do that again. Point and flex. And one more. Point and flex. And then from here, cross that thigh all the way over. It's your eagle legs on this side. You choose the version that will work for you, but think about internally rotating your thighs, femur bone in the hip sockets kind of going in. And then opening those arms out into a T as you breathe in, broaden that chest, reach. And then on your exhale now is your left arm that's going to come under the right, trying to get elbow over elbow, and then going for shoulders. Or again, if you know it works for you, lifting those forearms. Tops of the hands can come towards one another and you're working this. It's quite a bit of work here. Or if it's available, palms will touch. Anywhere you are, see if you can lift your elbows. You'll notice a difference in that upper back. And then use your breath to emphasize the stretch. Use your exhales to drop those shoulders. So don't let those shoulders climb up towards your ears. Keep them down. Use also your exhales to stabilize your posture. So remember about drawing belly to spine. It's going to help. Another breath in. And breath out. And then unwind those arms. You can lift them overhead to give them a little bit more space after that kind of wind up. And then as you exhale, lower those arms and lower and release your legs. Rest your hands on your thighs. Take a breath in. And take a long breath out. Let's find a forward fold before we come up to stand. So let's find some space between those knees and feet. And then take an inhale. And as you exhale, reach your chest forward and down. Allow yourself to round here. Once again, you could use your block. You could use a higher piece of furniture if needed. Arms on your thighs. Or if it feels good, hang. Head is heavy. And you're using that weight to find some traction through the whole spine. Breath in. And maybe mouth open, breath out. And then we're making our way up. If it feels good, one vertebra stacks over the other. And then once you get all the way up, bring those feet back to hip width. And we're going to make our way up to stand, but we're going to do that playing first. So we're going to just use that lift of one heel to come up and down a couple of times. We'll do the other one, and then we'll come up with both heels planted. Okay, so let's start by lifting the left heel. So make sure that you plant it through the ball of the foot. Draw that foot a little closer if needed. You've got your sit bones on the chair is underneath you. Make sure it stays there. And then as you inhale, bring those arms in front of you, bring weight into those feet and rise up part way. Keep your knees bent. And then on your exhale, lower back down. Okay, we've been doing this for a few weeks now, so notice what's changing, if it's getting easier, smoother. Remember to use your breath, control the movement, try not to use momentum. Let's do it one more time on this side. Lift and lower. And then plant your left heel, switch sides. Your right heel now is lifted, planting the ball of the foot. Make sure your toes are spread so you've got good base on this side too. And then bring those arms in front of you. And again, shift weight forward. Notice the first one, when you switch sides, might feel a little strange. There needs to be some adjustments. Let those adjustments happen. And then maybe the second time is a bit easier. And then the third time is like, oh, just normal. And then once you find your seat, plant both feet. And yeah, we're not going to do both heels lifted, right? Maybe in a few weeks we'll try it. We're going to do both feet well planted. We're going to bring that weight forward and then up. Now stay here. Let your arms rest by your side. Roll those wrists, wiggle those fingers. Relax those shoulders. See if you can bring your torso up a bit more. So you still got your knees bent, but you're not kind of hunched forward. You can lift that torso. You'll feel your thighs work quite a bit. Take another breath in. A breath out. Nice job. And then from here, reach your arms overhead, straighten those legs, rise all the way up. Those thighs are going to feel happy now. And then on your exhale, lower those arms by your side. Nice. Oh, I was tired all through that. Okay. So let's do a little balancing, like on a table pose that would be at the chair, and then we'll take it down to the mat. But then you could do the same thing at the chair if you don't want to come down to the mat. Okay, so we're going to get into a table pose. So we're going to plant the hands on the seat of the chair and the ankles, knees, and hips in one line. Work towards a neutral spine here. So remember about that slight bend in your knees so that you can send your sit bones back rather than your sit bones being pulled down towards the floor, right? It's like almost like lifting those sit bones slightly and then kind of pointing straight back behind you. Crown of the head is pointing straight forward, and then you're finding some engagement through your belly. So in all these balancing poses, the core is crucial. So you want to find that engagement, that place where everything kind of draws towards that center. Okay. So from here, let's start with the left leg. Left leg is going to rise behind us. Okay. And we're going to keep it lifted. And now see if you can lift your right hand, and you could first bring it to the back of the chair. And if it's available, send it all the way out in front of you over the back of the chair. So you're not holding onto the chair. So option here, you don't have to do it like that. You could keep your hand on the back of the chair. Breath in. And then on your exhale, return the hand to the seat of the chair, return the foot to the ground. Okay, so that was a balancing pose there, right? You notice you had to do some adjustments to, the posture so that you could hold that leg and that arm up. Now plant your right hand. Now right foot is going to lift behind you. So we're going to the other side. So right leg is behind you. Now it's your left hand that's coming to the back of the chair or out in front of you. So it's opposite hand and leg, right? Nice. Breath in. Remember that core, that center. Don't splay out so much that you lose that connection. And then on your exhale, lower left hand, lower right foot. Nice. Let's do it one more time each side. Left leg is rising on the inhale. And then right hand reaches forward. Breathe in. And then exhale, hand lowers back, foot lowers. Right leg rises. Inhale. Left hand reaches forward. Pause, breathe in. And exhale, left hand down, right foot down. Nice. And now come up to stand for a moment. Give yourself a little roll through the shoulders. And then turn to the back of the chair. And we're going to use the back of the chair just to support us here, but some of you might play with how much you use your hands on the chair here. So we're just going to lift and lower the heels. Try to do it lifting straight up and down, not leaning forward and back. So as you inhale, lift, you're coming onto the balls of the feet, crown of the head is reaching high. And then as you exhale, lower. Inhale again, lift. Keep a steady gaze out in front of you and a steady breath. Exhale and lower. You'll notice that you'll need your hands less if you've got that focus, that steadiness through your eyes. And a smooth breath. Exhale, lower. Now with your next inhale, we're going to lift, and now see if you can stay lifted. Okay. Notice how much weight is in your hands, and maybe you can lighten that up just a bit. Draw belly to spine, engage glutes. Another breath in, keep pushing the floor away. And then on your exhale, we're just going to come halfway with those heels. So a little adjustment here now. Pause, breath in. And now let's come 3/4 of the way. Breathe in. And then with your next exhale, lower those heels all the way down to the ground. Bring your hands again to the back of the chair if they're not there, and then walk your feet back, and now give your whole back body a nice stretch. So you're walking. You've got your sit bones away from your hands. See if you can increase that distance. Remember, bending the knees always welcome here. So imagine making again space between vertebrae. Take a full breath in. And a long breath out. And then with your next inhale, walk your feet towards your chair and come back into standing. Give your shoulders a bit of a roll and then release them down the back. Let's move away from the chair now. So let's take it to the mat. Feel free to stay with the chair if coming down to the mat is not happening today. Those of you coming down to the mat, we're meeting there, all fours. So hands and knees on the mat. Same position that we had at the chair, but this time instead of being on our feet, we're on our knees, right? So same idea, those hands more or less under shoulders, those knees more or less under hips. And then you've got your shins out, straight out behind you. And some of you might tuck the toes. Some of you might be comfortable pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. See what works for you best. Okay. And then we're going into that balancing pose, just the same as we did at the chair. So when you're ready, that left leg is going to rise behind you. So you extend that knee and you send it out. Okay. Keep that leg active. And then when you're ready, walk your right fingers forward. And first you could keep them on your mat. And then try lifting them, bringing the arm by your ear. Breathe in. And then on your exhale, lower your hand under shoulder and lower that knee under hip. Remember about keeping your wrists safe. So if you need to come onto those knuckles, so make fists, you could do that. Okay, so that might be an option also. We're going to the other side. So as you're ready, your right leg rises. Imagine again pushing something away, so leg is active. And then walk your left fingers forward towards the top of your mat, and then maybe float them off the mat. Breathe in and breathe out. Another breath in, and then lower hand and lower knee. Okay? Give yourself a little rest here. So child's pose is a good one. Bring your knees a little wider, lower your sit bones towards your heels, and then let your chest rest towards the mat. Remember about props here. So a pillow behind your knees can help support the hips, a block under the head, or a pillow under the head also. Make sure that this can be a resting pose so that when we go into that table and those balancing poses again, you have rested, you are ready. Another breath in and a breath out. One more. With your next inhale, make your way back into that table pose. Realign those knees with your hips. So again, in balancing poses too, to keep a good alignment will be helpful. So the stacking of joints usually is helpful. If your joints are kind of out, so you'll notice that if you try balancing with the arms out to the side and the knees wide, try lifting, doing, something like this, that lifting of that right leg, and that with this kind of alignment is a lot more challenging, right? So you want to try to stack your joints, and you want to be kind of tucked in, right? You don't want to be so splayed out that then when you lift, you're even more splayed out and you lose limbs, right? You want to stay connected to the center. So as much as you're extending an arm and a leg out, you don't want to lose the connection to the center of the body, because that's what will keep you stable, right? If the arm and the leg are just flailing out, it's going to be a lot more difficult to keep that balance. You want to kind of keep some containment. Hope this is making sense. Okay. A lot of talk, sometimes it's just you've got to feel it in your body, and sometimes, we've got to wait until we are ready to kind of experience it. So just stay open. Again, less talking. So left leg is going to rise on the inhale. Send it out behind you. If it's too much of a struggle to keep it lifted, just let your toes rest on the ground and keep, taking weight off those toes. So you're playing a bit more with your balance. And then walk your right fingers forward. And again, you could rest them on the ground just lightly and then explore lifting with control and lowering. Okay, so this could be another version. Okay, balancing poses are not static. Even though we're holding one there, you don't want to be rigid. You want to be able to move a little bit with control so you can respond, readjust as necessary. One more breath on this side. And then on your exhale, right hand lowers, knee lowers. Switching sides, right leg rises now. Again, maybe toes resting on the ground, left fingers walk forward. Maybe you play with lifting and lowering, and you could pair that with your breath. Think inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Maybe you hold it for an extra breath in. And breath out. And then let's lower that left hand, and let's lower that right knee. Use your inhale now to bring the chest forward, lower the belly, finding your cow pose, opening chest, lifting the gaze. And then as you exhale, round your spine a lot and see if you can come onto your finger tips. So walk your hands closer towards your knees and then just push into the mat with those fingertips and find a bit more rounding through that upper back. Let the head drop. Look at your fingers, and if you feel, if you see any of your joints and your fingers kind of locked out, see if you can bring a bend into those. So all of the joints in the fingers have a little bend. Breath in. And breath out. And then let's return onto those palms. And from here, keeping your knees straight under your hips, bring your hands wide, and then just walk your hands forward. So think about increasing the distance between your fingers and your sit bones, and your sit bones are lifting up and back. So this is a good stretch for those armpits, for that chest. Allow the chest to drop towards the ground. Your forearms could be on the mat. Breathe in. Your head might be on the mat. Breath out. See if you can feel kind of heaviness through the center of your chest. And that heaviness towards the ground is giving you that stretch through those armpits, through that chest. One more breath. And then with your next inhale, hands come back towards you, lifting your spine, and we're going to make our way into a seat. So you could shift your feet to the side, and then lower your sit bones, and bring those legs out in front of you. So in your seat, let's open up those knees a bit. So bring the soles of the feet together. Let your knees open wide. And then you could find even more space between your heels and your sit bones, right? So it doesn't have to be really close. You could slide those feet out a bit. Okay, like more of a diamond shape with your legs. And then if you want a bit more support for your spine, bring those hands behind you. Plant your fists maybe, and then just give yourself a push here and a bit of a lift. And take a full breath in, open chest here. And a full breath out. And another inhale. And exhale. And then from here, let's say, let's kind of do a similar shape, but one leg is going to be out extended. So let's start with the right. Right leg is going to extend, and then your left heel might move towards the right thigh a little bit. Oh, did I say, sorry. Right leg extended, left heel in, yeah? And then both sit bones are planted. Use your inhale to reach your arms overhead. And now on your exhale, lower those hands in front of you, maybe a block, and walk them forward. So you're coming into a forward fold. So straight in front of you. There you go. Yeah. Keep your right toes pointing up. Press down through that right heel. Breath in. And breath out. And then as you inhale, rise up. Come back through that diamond shape. Again, your legs, your feet could be out in front of you. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. And then take that left leg out, lengthen it. And then you could stay here, but it might feel better to draw the heel in a bit. So that it's almost like the sole of that right foot turns up towards the ceiling slightly. And that will allow your knee to drop a little bit more. And then take an inhale. You could reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, lower those hands in front of you and walk them forward. So you're coming into a forward fold. And you could allow your spine to round here, any amount. There shouldn't be any pain in that right knee. So if you do feel something there, make sure you adjust yourself a bit. Breathing in. And breathing out. With the next inhale, rise up. And then from here, bring both knees in, planting your feet, and we're coming down onto our backs. You choose to the side or planting those toes, and with control, reaching arms forward Slowly lowering lower back, mid back, upper back, and head. And once you get down to the mat, you could bring those knees into your chest and give yourself a hug here, rock from side to side. We did quite a bit of work today, it feels like, so see if you can acknowledge that and then notice that right now that work is done. So if there's any pockets of tension in the body or effort still, see if you can release them. And then we'll find a twist, and the option here is to plant your feet and then drop the knees to the side, or to bring the knees in, the feet are lifted, and then take those knees over to the side. Once you're on your side, open your opposite arm in the opposite direction and see if you can open the chest towards the ceiling. And breath in. And breath out. Allowing that upper back to be as close to the ground as possible. And relaxing the jaw and the muscles around the eyes. And then gently bringing yourself back through center and finding your other side. And again, on this other side, allow that opposite shoulder blade to plant or to get as close to the ground as you can. And then make this about release. So try not to be holding too much tension or efforting. It's more about letting go, letting gravity work on the twist, feeling the body supported by the ground underneath. And then gently returning through center. You could give yourself a little last hug here, knees towards the chest. And then when you're ready, releasing those legs and finding the most comfortable position for your body at this time. Maybe legs are extended, maybe the knees are bent and the feet are planted. You could rest your hands at your belly. And find some longer inhale and exhale. And then finding more of a normal breath. And finding stillness. And after all those balancing poses, allow yourself now to feel really supported by the ground, really close to it. No need to hold yourself up. So see how that feels, not only physically, but mentally. Allowing a sense of ease, of comfort. and feeling the parts of the body that are in touch with surface, supporting the rest of your body. And allowing yourself to be right here. And then just bring your awareness back to your breath. Feel, notice your next inhale, your next exhale. And then with that breath, invite some gentle movement into your toes and fingers, into your ankles and wrists. Moving in any other way that feels good at this moment, maybe even stretching those arms overhead. And if you're on your back, rolling onto one side, taking a pause, breathing in and breathing out. And then let's make our way up. Let's meet in a comfortable seat. And let's rest hands at the heart. Find that lengthened, lifted spine and find that still connection to the ground and that stability. And then take a moment to acknowledge the practice. We'll then acknowledge ourselves for practicing. We'll acknowledge those who practice with us. And then all those who make it possible. And as always, we'll end with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste.